You are listening to the Partner Up podcast by Welcome to Bundaberg. I'm Gail Reynolds, and in this series you will hear from community leaders who are kicking big collaborative working together goals. We will highlight the successful partnerships, shedding light on the positive impact they have had on both businesses and the community. Welcome to Bundaberg aims to improve the health and well-being, work and lifestyle outcomes for people living in Bundaberg by activating and implementing a range of community-led strategies across a range of services for a more connected, cohesive community. Let's go. Before we start today's episode, I would like to acknowledge country. I would like us to take a moment to reflect on the meaning of place and connection. In the spirit of reconciliation, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live, work and love on. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging of all the lands, and I extend that respect to all First Nations peoples listening today. Okay, so today we are here with Stacie Rae from Impact Community Services. So Stacie, tell us about who you are, what you do in the community, what your role is, what you love about it.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. I'm Stacie Rae. I am the Intensive Family Support Case Manager, I should say, actually, of one of the programs out at Impact. So a little bit about Impact. So we've been around since 1978 in the Bundaberg community. We have many different programs that we do out there. So we have our three pillars that we work under: the Live, Grow and Prosper. So intensive family support comes under those live pillars, where we really help families, help change some of the situations that they're in. So we also have some different social enterprises as well that we operate, like say the Material Recovery Facility, and we also operate in Agnes with a health facility, Harvey Bay with some programs down there as well. So we're a pretty broad area that we do cover. But a little bit about IFS. So we work with families with multiple and complex needs and at risk of entering the child protection system. So they're those real pointy end families that are really struggling at that point in time. So they might have some domestic and family violence, some drug and alcohol use, just struggling with functioning with children who may have disabilities as well. So that those real struggles that they have in life that they just can't function. So we come into their homes and we help support them, to build home routines in there, help with some of the cleanliness that might be happening in the home, helping them engage and refer into counselling services. We're a real walk alongside approach. So, if we see someone sitting on the ground crying, we're going to be sitting there next to them, supporting them along the way, because it's easy to tell someone to do something, but guiding them and supporting them along the way is key. So, and that's sort of a bit of what we do at IFS.
I think when I think about Impact Community Services in Bundaberg, it's been here for 45 years and changed and evolved and grown into what it is now. I think it probably has to be one of Bundaberg's, if not Bundaberg's, biggest community service organisation with so many different programs within it, but also the empowerment, the employment options. There's so many things that happen, and it does, and it's always changing and evolving with the community's need.
That's right.
And I think that's a really important part of the role it plays in the community. Which is a great resource for us. The other thing is that it's local, headquartered here in Bundaberg, which is what I love. We've got a lot of organisations here which we're very thankful for, but they're not necessarily locally driven, I suppose, in terms of their headquarters, and 100% of what they do is for the local community.
That's right. Yeah, Impact is, my little motto is impact local people delivering for local people. So we really, we like to get in and understand what's going on in our community, because that's how we're going to make those small changes moving forward for for the Bundaberg region, but not only Bundaberg, for the other areas that we do work as well. So we're just out on Bagara Road, and we're all there together, and we're all just chip in and help each other out. So
and like you said, you've now grown into those outer reaching areas from our community, so out at Agnes Waters in Discovery Coast, and then now down in Hervey Bay. So to be able to stretch that resource and those programs into those areas is a really great achievement, I think.
It is, thank you.
And lots of big things coming from what I hear, but we're not here to talk about that today. I'm really excited to see the next stages, because I think that it's a great community resource and really does an amazing job here. So today we're here to talk about, in our series, community-centred solutions, and the reason I asked you to come along was because I always feel like Impact itself, but also you, are a person that's been quite pivotal in making some changes around organisations collaborating, partnering and working together. And so tell me a little bit about what that means to you, and how do you, what are the effects that has, I suppose, in the community?
Yeah, look, so I came into community services only just over 6 years ago now. So I'm fairly new in that sector. I came from childcare prior to 13 years of that, which was very siloed. You do work in your own centre. So when I came into community services, I was very lucky to have some management who were very much like, we've got to work together. Like, you can't do this alone. So I was very blessed to have some really great managers that come in to support me along that way. And then the further I've delved into this work now, you can't do this alone. So I've been very pivotal. Like, my goal, my moral that I have in the work that I do is to give children a voice. That's been what I've always done. And that's not necessarily in the IFS program. We can get that from anywhere and support them in any way. So that's the sort of driving force for me. And then when I moved into management just a few years ago, I love being able to work with everyone. We have so many wonderful people that work this community, and together we can make a difference. So it's about changing, the perspective of the community. It's about supporting each other through that. So that's some of the driving force for myself, definitely.
And I think a lot of people that work within the sector within Bundaberg have that same moral and that guiding compass for themselves. We see that in people who are really genuine about what they want to do and achieve for the community. So can you share a story of a time when you've worked as part of on a collaborative project or in a program that was really exciting and engaging, and what did that look like? What was it?
Look, I think there's many things that sort of I have delved into, like in this space, working collaboratively with other communities. So we've got like the working together commitment that has been a collaborative from several different organisations in Bundaberg. But I think a real story that has happened is, so in the Bundaberg community, we're creating something called the Family Integrated Case Management. So FICM, we call it. And what it is about services coming together to support families who are in that real pointy end, that real need for help. So we supported a young mum with 5 children who'd experiencing severe domestic and family violence. So we supported her to, we went to this case management response, and together with like Eat On Place, QPS, probation and parole, child safety, Queensland Education, DV Connect, all of us joined together and we all helped that mum flee, and the children flee, a very dramatic, intense situation. But that's the work that we do. We've got to all be on the same page. We've got to have that main goal that we're moving towards. So I think it's that's some of the work that we we can do together in the community, and it's just by not operating in a silo effect. So,
So what's the best things about the way you work together in a scenario like that? What are the best things that come out of that sort of?
Look, I think the best one. I think the thing that's probably the most is those key working relationships strengthen. So when you're in those situations where you are, dealing with in that real crisis driven, and you're all working together to get this main goal, it strengthens relationships. It's, you know, it builds that communication. Like our connection with the Queensland Police, you know, just improved significantly because, you know, they saw a level that we were doing, we were able to help them from their side as well. Like it was just that real improving the areas that we do, like how we work together. So,
and what are the main elements that you think in terms of when you're looking at those organisations or businesses or individuals who can come to the table to help, what are you looking for in terms of values and morals and to have a shared success?
Yeah, look, I think trust is a big one. Like you've got to be able to trust each other in that, you know, some of the decisions have to be made quickly. So you have to trust that, you know, that everyone's going to come to the party, but also to, once you're in it, you sort of really understand that, you know, you've really got to rely on each other in those moments. You can't one can't drop off. Like you've got to come together in that real, like you're just doing it for the client. So you've got to really pull together and, you know, be on the same page. Communication is key as well. So that's the things that we really have to look together when working together. So.
And what do you learn? What do you learn about yourself? And I guess the experience to move forward then, because this is a daily, if not more than daily, occurrence in your world and in all of those other organisations coming together. What do you then learn from those experiences that you then pass on to the next experience?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question actually. So when I look back into all the times that I have, you know, experienced something like a real crisis-driven situation, I've learned about my strength that I have, that, you know, I can get it done when I need to get it done, but also to, you know, I always have a moment in my life where I'm thankful. Like I am so thankful for the life that I lead. Like, so it's just, yeah, I'm very thankful at the end of it, but also I have a great network around me that I can debrief on those situations. So, and I'm just lucky. I'm lucky to have that because not everybody has someone there. So I walk away always grateful and always know, like I always go to the next level. Like it just, you know, changes mindsets. It does. So.
Yeah, yes, it does. And I think that that's one of the great things when you're part of a great organisation, but then also when you've got all of these other contributing people coming to the party, you then, I guess, realise that, well, your job isn't to do everything for this person. Yeah. It's about empowering them to make those decisions and involving all of those other people and places that they can then connect with. So you're building a community around that person, and you're building their capacity to be able to find support where needed. And at different points in time, that might not be you, but it might be that person that they met over here because they helped them at that point in time.
Yeah, connection is key. Like, and community is, like they always say, you know, it takes a village to raise a community, like raise a child. And I think it really does. Like, and sometimes I think we do lack that within our community. Everyone's so busy, but I think real, true human connection is where we will change lives. I think everyone, no matter what, if they're struggling, they just need to connect with somebody. So connection is so powerful. And then, you know, like we supported that mum with that situation. However, you know, she's now strong enough to go on and change her and her children's life where she is now. So, and it's through, you know, empowering her to make those hard decisions and supporting her through them.
Mm-hmm. And so you touched on it before, the working together commitment, which, as I understand, you were pivotal, really, at a certain point in time along that, in that process in developing and designing what that looked like. Can you talk us through a little bit about, what is it? What does it look like? And how do you use it?
Yeah, excellent. So, so the Working Together commitment was created a few years ago now, actually, by my previous manager and some other different organisations here in Bundy. And it was sort of there to create a change. Like everyone was starting to operate in some siloed effects, and that's not what we want. So we created this document, this goals, this everything's in this little document about how can we work together and work together that's respectful as well. So we so that sort of started potting along. We did the 2-day seminar, and then we moved into trying to put it out into the community, and that's when I came on board. So so that's been over 2 years now, and now we've sort of taken off into like working together peer-to-peer model groups, which have been fantastic as well. We use it quite regularly in our day-to-day working life. So we have like templates for when we're doing stakeholder meetings. So everyone's on the same page. They've all got the goals are there. Everyone's responsibilities are there. It's talking about the elephants in the room. It's absolutely the key to helping you work together. In just on a day-to-day basis, really. So
yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll put the working together commitment up on the screen. Perfect. So people can have a look at it and look at the wheel and what it was created and what the different sections and the parts mean, because like you said, there's those elements of collaboration and working together that are, for some organisations and for some people, are really easy to do, because there's maybe some existing trust, there's some existing relationships, but then when new organisations or new people come into the mix, you have to start from scratch. And so the principles and the foundations that the working together commitment talks about or leans into really helps navigate those relationship building and that trust building. And the other thing that it does that I really like is that it really helps us set expectations about what our partnership might look like.
That's right.
And it draws to the surfaces those elephants in the room that you mentioned, that, well, hang on, this might be an issue here. How are we going to address these things? What does that look like? What's your agenda? What's mine? And how do we work through that? So it's really about setting the expectations right from the word go, setting your purpose.
That's right. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect explanation. It's about laying those ground rules, like, and it doesn't matter where if you've just moved into the sector, you can read the document and you can go, yep, I know what I'm on about now. So, and it's easy to draw back to if you forget, what's sort of the purpose of the document. So,
yeah, and where I've seen it used before, which I know for me has helped, is, sometimes there's a situation that occurs when you're working together with lots of different places. But you can actually use the working together commitment as a way to remind people, actually, this is the framework that we're using, and at the moment I don't feel that we're doing that. So how about we reassess and we re-look at, well, how can we work better together and use this as a model and a framework.
That's perfect. Great to refocus. Always come back. Easy to read. So it's amazing. It is a great tool, and it's built some really solid working relationships in the community. So we're slowly getting it out there further for people who may not have experienced it before. So we're slowly getting it out there for everyone to be able to work together.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yes. And I see as the work that we're doing, working across different sectors and within different organisations, different levels. Introducing this as a way to better collaborate, to better build relationships and trust, we can see that it's kind of weaving the ripple effects is happening. So although it may have started within that family and domestic violence space and helping those businesses and organisations, community groups work better together, it's now being seen to helping in other areas and other sectors, which is, it's a real credit to the people and the organisations that were there at the start that had the foresight to develop this way, and then to extend it into like a workable format that people can use in their organisations. So,
and the cool thing is you can sort of pick it up and move it to anything. So you can go into government, into the private sector as well. Like you can go kind of anywhere. So. It's just around the needs of the Bundaberg community, which is awesome. So.
Which is another great thing that it's an initiative that's place based. It's specifically for Bundaberg. It's been written and developed by Bundaberg people, and it's being adapted and moulded by the community. However, as our needs change.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. We just what works for one person doesn't work for the other, but it's still that foundational, that goal that we have. So it is a great tool to have in the Bundaberg community.
So what would you say to, there's some organisations or some people in the community that perhaps feel like they're not that connected, or not that, they don't feel like they're being supported by other organisations or businesses in our community? What's some recommendations from you?
I think reach out to us. Like, there's in our peer-to-peer group model, peer-to-peer working groups, there's a real strong lead group there, and I think just reaching out to us, and we can always help support you to feel that connection, because that's how it's so important to feel connected to other people in this sector. So, because it can be hard at times. So, but having people that you can lean on in those moments. So, I think reaching out to us in that working together commitment group, come along, and we meet monthly. So it's a great opportunity for you to join in and see how we go. So, and you'd see if you enjoy it. So
great. Have you got anything else you'd like to add to today's conversation? We've covered a lot of different things.
We've gone everywhere. No, I think so. I think it's pretty good. But I think, working together is how we're going to change the Bundaberg community. So it's pivotal in what we do. So
great. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of this episode. If you would like to listen to future episodes, you can follow or subscribe to Welcome to Bundaberg on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok @Welcome to Bundaberg.